Hello. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know your time's valuable and there's a lot of other things you could be doing right now, so I'll keep this as short as I can. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Keith Abell. I'm a licensed pharmacist and I've been an active pharmacist since 1995. I've worked in many practice settings over the years, but there's one area that I'm particularly passionate about, and that's what I want to share with you in this presentation. As a pharmacist, I'm very passionate about health and wellness. My goal is to help folks improve their overall health and well-being, and I probably take a little bit different approach to health and wellness than many of my peers do. Although the body has very complex biological processes involved in the disease process, I believe that our bodies were divinely designed to repair themselves, and given the proper tools, what I call 90 for life, and the proper environment, it can be accomplished. Yes, pharmaceuticals play an important role in human health. However, it's my belief that they should play a temporary role in the relief of symptoms, and our ultimate goal should be to find ways to allow the body's natural, God-given biological processes to take over. That is, to support and promote the body's ability to repair itself. Since I began my studies in pharmacy at the University of Kentucky, I've always been interested in the role nutrition and supplementation can play in disease prevention and improvement. Back in 1994, prior to graduation as a pharmacist, I started one of the first information and e-commerce websites on the internet. I provided free, helpful information on the use of herbs, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and other nutrients for the treatment and management of diseases. I also offered quality products that weren't available locally to meet those needs. Upon graduation, most of my professional continuing education has focused on what Linus Pauling calls orthomolecular nutrition. That's the study of nutrition at the molecular level and how it can be used to alleviate symptoms of disease and improve the quality of life. Now, sometimes around 2004 or 2005, something happened in my practice that's had a profound change on the direction of my career. I had a patient come into my store and ask me a question regarding a nutraceutical that I didn't have the answer to. You see, I had a client come in to me and say that they had heard that fish oil lowered cholesterol and he wanted to know how much he should take. Well, that information wasn't available anywhere in any of my reference books, so I had to tell him that I'd get back with him after I do some research. I did a search of the available medical and scientific literature that was available at the time, and I found an article after article after article on all the great things that omega-3 fish oil did. You know, it reduced blood pressure, improved cholesterol control, it improved control of diabetes, reduced inflammation and arthritis, it raised the good cholesterol, lowered the bad cholesterol. Study after study showing some positive impacts from omega-3s. Then I came across an article from one of the leading medical journals that said fish oil did nothing. Well, back in pharmacy school, I had a professor that said that when you do a scientific search in the literature and you come across many articles that had one result and then one article that had the opposite result, that we needed to ask three questions. Who funded the research? What did they stand to gain or lose from the results? And what did they do differently to get the results that they got? So I took a closer look at that single article that said fish oil did nothing, and I found that it was funded by one of the statin drug manufacturers. So that made it easy to determine what they would stand to gain or lose. If the results showed that it helped control cholesterol, then they would stand to lose billions of dollars in drug sales. So the next question was to look at what it was that they did different to get the results that they got. So then I looked at all the other studies that showed positive results, and in every single case, in all those other studies, they gave the participants anywhere from 6 grams to even 9 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per day. Then I looked at the statin company study. They only gave the study participants 1 gram of omega-3 per day. They knew it would fail before the research even started. This opened my eyes. Since that day, every time another study came out that said some nutraceutical did nothing, I would do a search of the literature, and in every single case, the negative study was funded by some big pharmaceutical company, and in every single case, they gave the patient a dose that was far below what the other research showed was effective. That's what we called sub-therapeutic dose. Or they gave a dosage form that wasn't absorbed properly, or they gave a chemical version of the nutraceutical that wasn't the form that the body could utilize. You see, big pharma can't patent something that occurs in nature already, so they couldn't profit from positive outcomes. Eventually, Big Pharma couldn't ignore the evidence on omega-3 fish oils, so they came up with a synthetic form of it to take along with their statin drugs to gain better control of cholesterol and triglycerides. The thing is, even in the synthetic form, they say that it doesn't work alone. It had to be taken with their drug. It doesn't work because, once again, they still only tested it at 4 grams per day. Just to illustrate this one more time, I came across a recent article that said St. Johns Wort. St. Johns Wort's a medical herb that's been used for centuries for the treatment of depression. In fact, in Europe, it's the first-line treatment before they ever prescribe Prozac or any of the other prescription medications. Anyway, the article said that St. Johns Wort didn't work. So I pulled the article, and in the study, they gave the St. Johns Wort for 7 days and declared that it failed to work. Now, why is this significant? St. Johns Wort, just like the prescription drugs Prozac, takes time to accumulate in the body in order to become effective. According to the Natural Medicine's Comprehensive Database, St. Johns Wort needs to be given for 6 to 8 weeks to produce the desired outcome. Once again, Big Pharma produced a study with misleading information, then they published it in a national journal, knowing good and well that very few health professionals would ever pull the article out and look at what they did to get their results. By the way, that client that mentioned earlier that asked me how much fish oil to take, I had him purchase some high-quality omega-3 fatty acids and instructed him to take 3 capsules twice a day. That's 6,000 milligrams a day. Within the first month when he came in to buy another bottle, he told me that his joint aches had gone away. Some months later, he told me that his doctor had taken him off his statin medications. His cholesterol and triglyceride levels were in control, and his doctor even reduced the dose of diabetic medications that he'd been taking because he had gained better control of his blood sugar. This incident really opened my eyes, and over the next decade, I've immersed myself in learning everything I can about nutrition and supplementation and the role that it plays in our overall health and well-being. In 2007, I came across the research of a doctor that was a veterinarian, a pathologist, a biomedical researcher, and a physician, Dr. Wallach, that he'd been using veterinary nutritional concepts, that is, using nutritional supplements to prevent and reverse diseases in animals. He had been using these concepts on his human patients and had seen amazing results. I started using those concepts with my clients, using the formulations that were available to me in my store, and slowly but surely I began seeing the same results in my clients that he had seen. That's when I decided to try his product line for myself and for my family. My mother-in-law had, at that time, just had her second bypass surgery. Blood thinners and all the medications that she was taking were causing her to have a really poor quality of life. She always felt run down with no energy and was embarrassed about all the bruising that the blood thinners was causing on her arms. I tracked Dr. Wallach down and I spoke with him on the phone. I put my mother-in-law on Dr. Wallach's 90 for Life program for heart and circulation health. And with the help of her general practitioner, I weaned her off the blood thinners first. Then one by one, all the other medications. Now, a decade later, she still does not take any prescription medications for her heart or her circulation. She goes to her cardiologist once each year, has the ultrasounds done of her arteries, and every year since she started taking Dr. Wallach's products, her cardiologist tells her that she has no further blockage. He writes her yearly prescriptions for what he thinks she's still taking and tells her there's no need to change any of her medications to keep doing what she's been doing. She comes home, throws the prescriptions in the garbage, and continues, as her cardiologist told her, to keep doing what she's been doing. She continues to follow Dr. Wallach's recommendations and continues to take his products. She hasn't told the cardiologist about Dr. Wallach because she wants him to continue to monitor things on a yearly basis, and she's afraid that if she really let him know what she was doing, he wouldn't let her come back to his practice. Well, in 2013, I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Wallach in person and to work side by side with him throughout that year. About once a month, I'd travel with him all over the country as he did his health lectures, and eventually doing some of the lectures myself. I'd meet the folks that he had helped, that had been helped with his 90 for Life program, and were so grateful for what Dr. Wallach had done for them. With Dr. Wallach's guidance, I began working with folks that I met along the way, educating them on the necessity of supplementing with the body with all the 90 essential nutrients that the body needs to support and promote its natural process of repair. I started those folks on Dr. Wallach's nutritional products based on their individual needs. And in most cases, within 90 days or less, I began seeing those folks have similar results to the results that my mother-in-law had. And that is precisely why I'm sharing this information with you. I want to help as many folks as possible to improve their health, and where possible, get off the dangerous pharmaceuticals that they're currently taking. I mentioned that Dr. Wallach's a veterinarian and then became a physician, but I haven't told you the entire story. He graduated from the University of Missouri with a degree in soil science and Doctor of Veterinary Science. From there, he began working with Marlin Perkins of the Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom on saving endangered species of animals, both in Africa and then back here in the United States at various zoos. From there, he worked on a decade-long project with the National Institutes of Health as a pathologist, where he completed thousands of comparative autopsies and hundreds of thousands of blood chemistries from hundreds of species of animals and human beings. From that research, his findings have been published more than 70 times in scientific and medical journals. He compiled all that research together and co-authored a book, The Diseases of Exotic Animals, that's currently in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. He then returned to school to become a naturopathic doctor, so he can then apply his veterinary concepts in his human patients. He's been recognized with various prestigious awards, including one most recently at the United Nations for his life's work. And I'm so blessed to count him as a friend and colleague. Veterinary research has cured over 900 diseases in animals that we still suffer from. The veterinary industry and Dr. Wallach's research has shown that diseases like arthritis and diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and many, many more are diseases of nutritional deficiencies. If they were traced back, in most cases we can find a deficiency in some mineral, vitamin, amino acid, or other nutritional compound. Likewise, the veterinary industry has learned that if they supplement the animal feed with all the nutrition the animal needs, they can actually increase a healthy life expectancy of the animals. In the human model of medicine, when something goes wrong, the first inclination is to prescribe a medication. Medications, with the exception of the anti-infective category, don't heal anything. They just treat symptoms. I want you to think about this. You're driving down the interstate in your car and the check engine light comes on. Do you ignore it? Or do you check to see what's wrong and get it fixed? If you cut the wire going to that light and ignore the light, what would eventually happen? The car's going to break down, possibly, depending on what's wrong, possibly a catastrophic failure. Well, that's exactly what happens when you get a prescription. You're cutting the wire to the red warning light, the symptom of the disease that you're experiencing in the body. The body is trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you that something's wrong. When you give a prescription, the drug, the medication, is designed to affect some biological process in the body in order to get the response that the doctor wants. In effect, ignoring the red warning light and not fixing what's really wrong. Dr. Wallach, from those thousands of autopsies in his veterinary research, discovered that nutritional deficiencies are at the root cause to all the ailments that we still suffer from. He discovered that if you give the body all 90 essential nutrients, then you're supplying the body with the raw materials that it needs to support and promote the body's natural ability to repair itself. And it's precisely this that has me so excited. Why is it that the United States spends more money on health care than everyone else in the world combined? Spending more money on health care than anyone else in the world has not paid off. The United States is 60th in life expectancy. That means 59 other countries have a longer life expectancy than we do. We're 41st in infant mortality, and only 1 in 10,000 Americans live to be 100. How can this be? It's because we're trying to win the battle of good health with medications instead of optimal nutrition. We're cutting the red warning light and ignoring what's at the root cause of the disease. Based on Dr. Wallach's decades of research, he's found that your body needs at least 90 essential nutrients to function at its best. These nutrients include 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. The foundation of nutritional health is what he calls 90 for life. Unfortunately, all these nutrients are no longer found in our food because of decades of farming practices that have left our soils depleted of these nutrients, combined with the heavy processing in the food manufacturing process, the addition of dangerous synthetic chemicals and flavorings and preservatives on our food doesn't contain the nutrients that it once did. So your first step to optimizing health is to provide your body with all 90 essential nutrients, the core nutrition needed. While the 90 essential nutrients are necessary to provide a powerful base for sustained health, ultimate wellness is further supported and customized with additional nutrients depending on your personal needs. For example, if you're suffering from joint pain, there's a 90 for Life program specifically formulated for bone and joint health. There's formulations to support healthy blood sugar, cardiovascular support. If you're active in sports or if you got a job that causes you to sweat all the time, then he designed an athletic support program for you. And then there's many more. From personal and professional experience, I know that by following Dr. Wallach's recommendations, I can help folks get better control of their blood sugar, to improve their bone and joint health, to gain control of their blood pressure, and many, many more improvements in their health and overall well-being. Again, that's precisely why I'm sharing this information with you. I want to help as many folks as I possibly can to improve their health, and where possible to help them even reduce or even eliminate the need for the dangerous pharmaceuticals that they've been taking. We're looking for a few key people to work with me to help get this information out there. I'm looking for some folks that have leadership qualities, that can follow and teach a simple system, folks that want to create an additional income that continues to come in month after month, and possibly even replace their current income. And if you're interested in learning more about getting healthy or the income opportunity, then just complete the information on this website and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. I hate spam as much as you guys do, so I will not rent or sell the information to anyone else. It's just used by me to help get that information out to you. Thanks again for watching this video.